The next model is the health belief model. This is brought forward by Hochbaum 1958 and Rosenstock 1966. This has four parts to it, and what this can cause the likelihood of engaging in health promoting behavior. At the start, the individual is able to modify three of the variables. The perceived threat also comes from the perceived seriousness and the perceived suspectability. This is how serious the threat is and how much they know or think that they know about it. The four factors of this model are perceived threats, benefits and barriers, cues to action, and self-efficacy. Perceived threats is where something is believed by the individual. This is how much they feel their risk and their vulnerability. The individual must believe in the severe consequences from this. This can be applied to John and his health issues. He knows he is prone to the risk of the disease, knows the consequences, therefore must lose weight. The next is the perceived benefits and perceived barriers. The positives out of exercise is that they maintain healthy relationships and John will stay healthy and not be prone to the diseases. This is from a specific change in the behavior. This would be John continuing swimming. The other type is the barriers. This is something that can reduce the willingness to change and the behavior to stay the same. This means that if they have an idea that the barriers can be broken, that they will. This means John needs help and guidance through continuous sport. The bads can be things such as being too tired or not bothered. The benefits of the exercise must outweigh the barriers of the individual. The barrier of the individual will have no motive or to return or start again. The other part of this model is cue to action. This is where there is a trigger which changes the behavior of the behavior of the individual. This might be someone who you look up to, who changes and you become inspired. If John sees his parents winning, he might also start again and look up to this. This can include strategies that suit John, reminders and sponsorship to make sure that they are accountable for their behavior. The last part is self-efficacy. This is where the individual has the support to succeed. They made a change and needed support. For John, this might be going back to swimming and having support from their parents. They might have a need to believe that there are tools in the facility to maintain the change. To help with the change, there is a decision balance sheet. This includes the pain of taking action, pleasure of taking action, pain of not taking action, pleasure of not taking action. By looking at the table, we can see an example of the model for John. This is the outcome of John wanting and not wanting to go swimming. There are positives of the swimming, but also negatives. This is a way John can decide whether or not to go back, yet there is a limitation of this model. There is the fact that the knowledge of the benefits varies due to the bad things outweighing the goods. The value system varies due to individual differences and the difficulty to measure on the actual model itself. The last model is the theory of planned behavior model. Overall, this suggests that if we intend or plan to do something, we have a higher success rate of completing this rather than just going straight into it. It believes that the individual uses attention and predict the behavior which should be shown. This theory is also thought to determine the strength of an individual's intention. This means we are able to plan their behavior from this, such as John. We can see that he isn't very keen on going back, so he will have anxious behavior and more passive behavior towards swimming. This model is broken down into three components. One of these is behavioral attitudes. This is how a person thinks and feels about behavior. In this part, there is affective attitude. This is where the individual believes the behavior to be fun or not, such as John found swimming fun at the start but later on lost interest. This might also be down to instrumental attitude. This is where the individual believes if it's worth it or not. This can be applied to John. John needs to believe that going back is worth it. He needs to see that it will affect his health and chance not to carry the heart disease. The second component is subjective norms. This is support given by significant others such as family or friends, and whether they approve of it or not. There are two types. One is injunctive. This is whether others encourage the behavior, and descriptive, whether the others do the behavior too. So John might be encouraged to swim due to his parents swimming. The last component is the perceived behavioral control. This is how much the individual feels capable and confident with the behavior they are showing. It's whether they feel as though they are good enough and if they can overcome their problems. Overall, the intentions of the individual don't always relate to the behavior which they show, but intention doesn't always actually predict the behaviour. This could apply to John. By looking at him, he isn't very confident with his swimming, and doesn't feel capable, so he doesn't believe he is good enough.